Hey everyone, it's Chica. Today I'm going to show you how to paint a wood grain effect for your altered moments. Here's the piece I'm going to work with. This is just a broken piece from another figurine. It's got a nice smooth surface here that'll show this really well. For the paint, you need to have 3 colors. The main color that you want the wood to be, a lighter color for accents, and then a darker color for texture. So for these, I happen to be using brown sugar, cocoa bean, and coffee bean. So I have some of that paint here on my little scrap. I'm going to use a pretty good sized brush, a liner brush, and then a tiny, tiny brush later. So we're going to start with the big brush, and we're just going to paint this the base color of the wood. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and give this a second coat. All right, we will let that dry. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is use some of our dark color to define our planks on the wood. Now this is of course assuming that you are doing something with planks, like if it's a wood floor or anything where there's going to be multiple boards. So I'm just dipping this in and just running kind of a line there just to sort of separate my planks. I'm realizing now that this brown might not actually be dark enough. So I think I'm going to add a little bit of black just to kind of darken this a little bit. Let's just mix that in. I think that's going to show up better here. Okay, so now let's do that again. Oh, there we go. Now we can actually see those lines. Don't worry about this being too stark. It's going to all kind of blend away. Now to add the wood grain, we want to use that dark color again, and you want to kind of create some knots, like little circles, but then kind of go around in sort of a diamondy teardrop shape, and then kind of go like that, right? Because that's kind of how the wood is going to look. And again, we're going pretty bold here with this dark color, but it's just to lay the groundwork. Lots of streaky strokes. Okay, there's a little bit. You can see that's pretty bold, but that's okay. Now, before this has a chance to fully dry, I'm going to go back to my medium color here, and I'm going to blend some of these in. I don't really want them quite that bold. I'm just going to kind of go back along where those black lines are and just sort of go over it again with some of my lighter brown. And just kind of blend it in. I'm basically just tracing over all of those knots and the grain that I did, and toning them down a little bit. Oops, wrong color, this one. See how that kind of just knocks that down a little bit, but you really needed that dark color under there to provide some contrast. This brush is my little teeny tiny liner brush. This is one of my favorite brushes. I use it for a lot of things. What's really nice about the long bristles on this is that it's like painting with a feather. It's such a light touch. It works really well to get a nice finish on the paint. Okay, that's looking better, right? I didn't add any grain on this middle one for some reason, so I'm going to go back and do that with the dark. Just a few little lines in there. There we go. Now, don't forget too, I'm not really doing it here, but if you're doing a base and you want to go down the sides, don't forget the sides. You need to continue that pattern. I'm not going to do it all the way around here just for the sake of time, but you can see what I mean. One more touch, I'm going to go back to my light accent color now, and I'm going to add a little bit of this, again, before this all dries. Just a few little spots here, just to kind of add some. Where am I putting it? I don't know, around the grain, around the knots, wherever it feels like it needs to be. Just a little bit. Then I'm going to go back to my big brush, which is slightly damp and clean, and just sort of blend that in. Because we don't want those light streaks, but we do want a little bit of accent in there. And just to go more slowly, I'm going kind of around to follow the grain like that and to follow the lines. Very, very light touch, moving pretty quickly just to get that blended in. Right now, as my paint is starting to dry a little bit more, I'm going to push a little bit harder because I really want to blend all of that in. There we go. Back for a little bit more of that light color right there. Now I'm just sort of doing an overall brush effect. I'm going to let this sit and dry a little bit. We may come back and add some more accents to it. Okay, that's dry, and I'm going to take one more pass at it because I feel like this is still a little too bold for me. So I'm going to go back with some water on my brush and get some of my medium brown here. I'm just going to kind of give it a wash over the whole thing. I just want to tone that down. I know it's covering it up, but hold on, I'm not done yet. And then let's just take a tissue and just kind of wipe some of that back. There we go. Just a little bit, just to tone that down just a hair. Gives a little bit of depth and dimension too. So there, there you go. Not too bad. That's my wood grain technique. I hope you enjoy this. You can use it for floors, furniture, anything that you want a little bit of wood. You can customize it with whatever shades of brown you want to create the wood grain effect that you want. But the technique is pretty much the same. I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any more of the fun videos that we've got coming from Altered Moments and other fun project ideas that Joe and I create. Thanks so much for watching. See ya.